Jonadab, who was also his cousin, encouraged Ammon to commit sexual sin by tricking his sister. See, only an evil person, only a conniving, no-good scoundrel would try to get somebody to deliberately sin or give somebody advice that will ruin their life. Amen? Jonadab was evil. That's why we have to be mindful of who we take advice from, even if it's our relatives. Psalms 1:1 says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord." Amen? And in his law does he meditate day and night. We have to measure the advice that people give us by God's standards. Now, Jonadab gave Ammon some ungodly advice. Jonadab told Ammon to lure Tamir to his house by pretending to be sick. See, he's already into the trickery of the devil. His father David, when he saw that Ammon was sick, he didn't know he was pretending, so he sent Tamir to take care of him. So she went to his house to cook and take care of him, but Ammon had some evil plans. Let's continue reading in 2 Samuel 13, verses 10 through 19. Then Ammon said to Tamir, "Bring the food into the bedroom, that I may eat from your hand." And Tamir took the cakes which she had made and brought them to Ammon, her brother, in the bedroom. Now when she had brought them to him to eat, he took hold of her and said, "Come lie with me, my sister." See, now he's saying, "my sister." Ammon had lusted for an opportunity to be alone with Tamir many, many times. He had commanded all the men to leave the house so that he could be alone with her because he had evil on his mind. Verse 12. But she answered him, "No, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing should be done in Israel. Do not do this disgraceful thing." Verse 13. "And where could I take my shame? And as for you, you would be like one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore, please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you." See, Tamir was more righteous than her brother, but Tamir was only 15 years old, and Ammon was 22 years old. She begged him, "Don't be a fool. Don't do this terrible thing," because it was a disgraceful act. So when I read the last sentence in this verse, it confused me a little bit, where it says, "Now therefore, please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you." I didn't understand that at first. I was thinking, would David allow sexual relations between his two children? That didn't hit me quite right, so I studied it out, because I knew the practice of incest, which is sex between family members, was forbidden among the Israelites. Leviticus 18:9 says, "Do not have sexual relations with your sister or your half-sister." So why did Tamar say the king will not withhold me from you? I'm glad y'all asked. The answer to that is that the law forbade incest, but this law was not always obeyed. Right. Just like people don't always obey the law today. Or it may have been that Tamir was saying this just to try to get away from Ammon. We don't know why she said it. But Ammon was too mean and cruel to listen to her. He was so consumed by lust. He had to have her, even though that was his sister. Let's keep reading. 2 Samuel 13, verse 14. "However, he would not heed her voice, and being stronger than she, he forced her and lay with her. Then Ammon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Ammon said to her, 'Arise, be gone.' So she said to him, 'No, indeed, this evil sending me away is worse than any other that you did to me.' But he would not listen to her. She was saying, 'Now you done defiled me, and you done raped me, and now you want to kick me to the curb.' Verse 17. Then he called his servants who attended him and said, 'Here, put this woman out away from me, and bolt the door behind her.' Now she had on a robe of many colors, for the king's virgin daughters wore such apparel. And his servant put her out and bolted the door behind her. Then Tamir put ashes on her head and tore her robe of many colors that was on her, because she was no longer a virgin, so she couldn't continue to wear the robe. And she laid her hand on her head, and she went away crying bitterly. She had been assaulted and degraded by her own brother. Yep. Love and lust are two very different emotions. See, after Ammon raped his half-sister, his love turned to hate. However, it was never really love anyhow.
Right.
It was lust from the very beginning.
Right.
Although he claimed to be in love, he was actually in lust. See, love is patient, but lust wants immediate satisfaction. Love is kind, but lust is cruel and harsh. Love puts others first, but lust demands to have his own way. The shame and remorse that Ammon felt and his fear of being punished for his crime made him hate Tamar. He once thought he loved her, but now he hated her. By throwing Tamar out of the house, Ammon made it look like she had propositioned him instead of the other way around. His crime had ruined her chances of getting married. Because she was no longer a virgin, she could not be given in marriage. King David was angry at Ammon for raping his sister, but he did not punish him. That was a big mistake. Absalom tried to comfort his sister. He persuaded her to keep quiet about what had happened because he planned to get even with Ammon. Absalom hated Ammon because of what he had done to his sister. He waited 2 years for the opportunity to kill his brother. Let's look at 2 Samuel, the 13th chapter. We're going to read 23 through 33. We're talking about men of the Bible today, and we're talking about Absalom, who was the son of David. Verse 23, and it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal-Hazor, which is near Ephraim. So Absalom invited all the king's sons. Then Absalom came to the king and said, kindly know your servant has sheep shearers. Please let the king and his servants go with your servant. See, it was a custom when they would have these sheep shearing and shave all the hair off the sheep, they would have a big feast and a big party. So Absalom went to his father, the king, and invited him and all his sons to come. Verse 25, but the king said to Absalom, no, my son, let us not all go now, lest there be a burden to you. Then he urged him, but he would not go, and he blessed him. Then Absalom said, if not, please let my brother Ammon go with us. And the king said to him, why should he go with you? But Absalom urged him, so he let Ammon and all the king's sons go with him. See, this is all part of Absalom's plan. He wanted to invite the king and all his sons, but he really just wanted to kill Ammon.
Right.
Absalom had hid his hatred for his brother for 2 years. Now, don't you know that was eating away at his inside? Yeah. You can't have bitterness and resentment in your heart toward people. You just got to let it go.